Welcome to 5 Good Minutes. You're listening to today's inspirational message on the book of Mark with Brady Randall.
Have you ever been in a public space and heard the ding-dong noise as an announcement is about to take place? Whether that's a school setting or an airplane or in your car and you hear the emergency alert system coming on. The idea is when you hear that, you're supposed to stop what you're doing and pay attention because something very important is about to be said. And that's what happens, and that's what we see in the beginning of Mark chapter 1. We read these words, the beginning of the good news about Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God. The first line is like a title. It's stop and listen. You don't want to miss this. This is just the beginning of the good news about Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God. And the word good news there is the word gospel, which means a victory announcement. Jesus is the one who is the gospel, and he comes proclaiming the gospel. And the specific good news is that Jesus has come bringing the reality that he went into the broken world, into our broken lives, died on a cross, took the penalty for sin, and rose again. And Jesus embodies this good news. But the gospel is not just an announcement of what's been done for you. Jesus himself is the gospel. He's come to set captive people free. He's come to heal the sick, to mend the broken, to comfort the afflicted, the lonely, to defeat Satan, to be your brother, your friend, your Savior. He's the only one who can offer abundant life. He is and embodies the gospel. And not only was this really important 2,000 years ago for all the people waiting for the Messiah, the Savior, the Son of God, God in human flesh, Emmanuel, God with us, but this is also for us today. The one who we didn't even realize we needed is here, and you got to check him out. And so the question is, who was and is this Jesus anyway? And I think we see this in the first part of chapter 1, that he's the one who's worth preparing for. We see this in verses 2 and 3. As it is written in Isaiah the prophet, I will send my messenger ahead of you who will prepare your way. A voice of the one calling in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make straight paths for him. And so here's what we read. And when you hear that word prepare, I don't know about you, but I like the finished product a lot better than the preparation. I love the home-cooked meal, but I don't like to cook it. I love a clean house, but I don't always like the cleaning process. I'd love to be able to get off the couch and just run a marathon, but I'm not sure if I'd like all the training that goes into it. And as much as we don't love it sometimes, it's the preparation that's crucial. And so here was John the Baptist, who was the prophet, who was calling out the way to prepare people for Jesus, to prepare for Jesus and to prepare to have others meet Jesus. And Jesus is also the one with whom God is well pleased. And after Jesus was baptized in verses 9 through 10, verse 11 says this, it says, a voice came from heaven. You are my son with whom I love, and with you I am well pleased. Jesus is also the one who's been tempted in every way and yet without sin. At once, we read in verses 12 to 13, the Spirit sent him out into the wilderness, and he was in the wilderness 40 days being tempted by Satan. He was with the wild angels, and the angels attended him. Jesus was tempted, and yet he passed the test on our behalf. So consider this incredible good news about Jesus. Listen again to the announcement. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the Savior of the world, the one who's worth preparing for, the one with whom God is well pleased, the one who's been tempted in every way, and yet he was without sin, the one who is the gospel and comes proclaiming the gospel, the one who brings the kingdom and reign of God is here. He's on the scene. So will you prepare for him, and how will you respond to this good news?
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.